I think I agree with Jose Comblin about freedom, but I want to make a slight distinction here, and I don't know what he would say about this. To me, true freedom is being what we are meant to be, and that would be communion with God. We were created by God for communion with Himself. So true and perfect freedom would be existing in communion with God. The image of God in us is our ability to have communion with God. But because of sin, we can only really achieve that by God's grace. So for me, true human freedom is what happens when we submit to God and allow His grace to transform us, to restore the image of God in us. The distinction I want to make is between that freedom, being what we're meant to be in communion with God, and free will. We usually use those words interchangeably, especially in English, free will and freedom. And it sounds to me like Jose Comblin is doing that. And that's all right, I understand that. But I just want to make that distinction that free will is a tool God has given us to partner with Him and His grace in achieving true freedom. So let me say it again. True freedom is communion with God, which is God's purpose for us. Free will is a tool that God has given us as a way of arriving at that true freedom. But we can misuse that tool, free will. We can use it to divert ourselves away from the goal of communion with God and thereby miss freedom. So paradoxically, free will can become a way of missing true freedom. We can misuse our God-given free will to not be free, but to be in bondage. So free will and true freedom need to be distinguished in that sense. However, I agree with Comblin insofar as he means that we were given freedom by God, we are given free will by God as a gift, and a gift of God's love. Just like parents who have a child would never want that child to be anything but free to love them in return freely. That is, they don't want their children to just be robots who have to love them. So God gave us free will because He wants our love returned to Him freely. And as we use that free will together with God's grace to enter into true freedom, communion with God, I think God finds His own fulfillment in that because that's God's purpose for us. And I think God enjoys that. So our proper use of our free will to enter into true freedom, communion with God, gives joy to God as well as to us.